Buddhist wisdom reveals anatta, or no self. This isn't about denial, but a deeper understanding of our ever-changing nature. To unravel this paradox, we look at the 5 aggregates: form, feeling, perception, mental formations, and consciousness. First, form: our physical body. Constantly changing, decaying, renewing. It's a temporary collection of elements, not a fixed you. Then, feelings: pleasant, unpleasant, neutral. And perceptions: how we label and interpret. Both are fleeting, arising and passing away. Next, mental formations: our thoughts, intentions, habits. And consciousness: the awareness itself. These two are interdependent, not a separate self. Imagine a chariot. Is it the wheels, the axle, the body? No, the chariot is merely the sum of its parts, a label for a. Or the ship of Theseus: if every plank is replaced, is it still the same ship? Understanding no self dissolves attachment to a fixed identity. When we let go of me and mine, suffering from craving diminishes. This liberation brings immense freedom and compassion. Not a void, but a boundless awareness, deeply connected to all. Embrace this wisdom. We often feel we have a fixed, unchanging self, a solid I at our core. But is this really true, or merely a comforting illusion? Buddhist wisdom invites us to explore this self deeply. It reveals a profound truth: the concept of no self, or anatta. What we perceive as me is not a single entity. Instead, it's a dynamic collection, constantly arising and passing away. The Buddha taught this collection comprises 5 aggregates: form, feeling, perception, mental formations, and consciousness. Each is impermanent. Consider the ancient paradox of the Ship of Theseus. If every plank is replaced, is it still the same ship? Like the ship, our bodies, thoughts, and feelings are always changing. No single part remains the same, yet we call it self. Similarly, the Chariot Analogy asks, is a chariot the wheels, the axle, or the frame? No, it's just a name. Our self is like that chariot. It's a convenient label for a collection of parts, not an inherent, unified being. Understanding this illusion of a fixed self loosens our grip. We cling less to ideas, possessions, and even our own identity. This liberation from clinging brings profound freedom. It frees us from suffering, allowing us to live with open, peaceful hearts. We often cling to a fixed idea of who we are. What if this self we cherish is merely fleeting experiences? Buddhist wisdom reveals our self as 5 aggregates: form, feelings, perceptions, mental formations, and consciousness. Our feelings and perceptions arise and pass, like ripples on a pond. Are they truly us, or just temporary phenomena? Even our thoughts, memories, and awareness are impermanent, constantly shifting. They are not a solid, unchanging self. Like the ship of Theseus, repaired with new parts, is it the same ship? Our body changes, moment by moment. Or consider a chariot: remove its wheels, axle, or body. Where is the chariot then? It's just a name for parts. Understanding no self isn't about annihilation, but seeing through illusion. It reveals the interconnectedness of all things. Clinging to a solid self creates suffering, fear, and attachment. This illusion binds us to endless cycles of craving. When we release the grip of self, true freedom emerges. We experience boundless compassion and inner peace. Embrace this wisdom to liberate your heart. See beyond the illusion, and discover profound freedom within yourself. We often cling to an I or me, a fixed identity we believe defines us. But what if this self is merely a construct? Buddhist wisdom reveals a profound truth: anatta, or no self. It's not absence, but a dynamic flow, not a fixed entity. The Buddha taught 5 aggregates that assemble our experience. First, form: our body, senses, and the material world we perceive. Next, feeling: pleasant, unpleasant, neutral sensations. Then perception: how we recognize and label experiences through our senses. Mental formations: our thoughts, intentions, volitional actions. Finally, consciousness: the awareness of all these aggregates, arising and passing. None of these aggregates, alone or combined, are a permanent self. They are impermanent, interdependent, constantly changing, like a river. Consider the Ship of Theseus. As old planks are replaced, piece by piece, is it still the same ship? Where is the unchanging self? The ship's identity isn't in any single part, but in its continuous process of change. So too with our self, ever evolving. Like the chariot, its identity is not in the wheels, axle, or body alone. It is a concept, a label for assembled parts. Understanding this no-self dissolves attachment to fixed identities. It liberates us from suffering, bringing profound peace and true freedom. We often cling to a fixed idea of ourselves, believing it is permanent. This attachment inevitably brings us suffering. Buddhist wisdom offers a radical truth anatta, or the teaching of no-self. You are not who you think you are. The Buddha taught that what we call self is merely a collection of 5 aggregates, starting with form or body. Next are feelings, pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. They constantly arise and pass, never truly defining you. Then comes perception, how we recognize and interpret experiences. This too is impermanent and ever-changing. Mental formations, our habits and intentions, shape our actions. Yet, they are not a stable self either. Finally, consciousness, the awareness of these aggregates. It constantly shifts, never remaining the same. Like the Ship of Theseus, whose parts are replaced over time, our self is a flowing process, not a static entity. The chariot is just its wheels, axle, and frame. Likewise, the self is just these aggregates, without a core. Understanding this no-self dissolves attachment, bringing profound freedom and an end to suffering. Find liberation. We often cling to a fixed idea of who we are, a self we tirelessly protect. This constant grasping brings subtle, persistent suffering. This imagined self becomes the root of our worries, fears, and endless desires. It's a heavy anchor, preventing true freedom. Can we truly be liberated? Buddhist wisdom introduces anatta, the profound teaching of no-self. It means seeing beyond fixed identities. What if true freedom lies in this understanding? What we perceive as self is merely a collection of 5 aggregates: form, feeling, perception, mental formations, and consciousness. They are constantly changing. Consider the Ship of Theseus. As planks are replaced, is it the same ship? Our self is similar, ever-changing, a collection of parts. Like a chariot, it's a name given to wheels, axle, and body. Not a single inherent chariotness. Our self is also a label for aggregates. Understanding impermanence, this no-self, allows us to release our tight grip. We let go of needing a permanent identity. This is liberation. When attachment to myself lessens, so does craving, aversion, and suffering. The burdens of ego begin to dissolve. We find lightness in being. Liberated from the illusion of a separate self, compassion naturally expands. We recognize our deep interconnectedness with all beings. Peace fills the heart. Explore this profound wisdom daily. Observe the aggregates. See their changing nature. This journey to no-self leads to lasting freedom. Continuing from the aggregates, we see no fixed self. It's a flow, not a solid entity. Consider a chariot. Is it the wheels, the axle, the body? No, it's a name we give to a collection of parts. Each part is distinct. Yet none alone is the chariot. Only when assembled do we call it by that name. It's a designation. Like the chariot, you are a collection of ever-changing aggregates. No part is a permanent self. This is liberating wisdom. Think of the Ship of Theseus. As planks are replaced, is it still the same ship? Its form changes, but the name remains. Every piece replaced, yet we cling to the original ship. This illusion mirrors our attachment to a fixed self. Our bodies and minds are like that ship, constantly renewing, changing. There is no stable, unchanging I to be found. This clinging to a false, permanent self is the root of suffering. We resist change, creating inner conflict and pain. Truly seeing no self, we loosen our grip. suffering from attachment begins to dissolve. This is liberation. Embrace anatta, not as absence, but as freedom from illusion. Find peace in the flow, unburdened and truly free. We often believe in a solid, unchanging self. Yet, Buddhist wisdom invites us to look deeper, questioning this very core idea. This deeply ingrained belief in a permanent I creates much suffering. We cling to it, protect it, and fear its loss above all else. The Buddha taught anatta, or no self, by examining the 5 aggregates: form, feelings, perceptions, mental formations, and consciousness. First, there is form, our physical body, and the material world. It constantly changes, decaying, never truly fixed. Then, feelings: pleasant, unpleasant, neutral. And perceptions: how we recognize and label experiences. Both are fleeting, arising and passing. Mental formations are our thoughts, intentions, habits. And consciousness is simply awareness itself. None are a permanent self. Consider the chariot analogy. Is the chariot its wheels, axle, or body? No, it's a designation for a collection of parts working together. Just as a chariot is not a single, inherent entity, neither are you a fixed, unchanging self. You are a process, a collection. Like the ship of Theseus, constantly replaced, yet still called the ship. Our self is similar, ever-changing, yet we hold on to the illusion. Understanding this no self liberates us. We release attachment to what isn't real, finding profound freedom from suffering. Embrace impermanence. What if your very sense of self, the you believe in, is not truly real? This paradox challenges our deepest assumptions. The Buddha taught anatta, the doctrine of no self. Not non-existence, but absence of a fixed, unchanging essence, a profound truth. Our self is a collection of 5 aggregates: form, feelings, perceptions, mental formations, consciousness. Like a flowing river. Form is our body. Feelings are our sensations. Perceptions are how we interpret things, like labels. None are constant. Mental formations are our intentions and habits. Consciousness is awareness itself. No single part is you, nor is the sum. Consider the chariot: wheels, axle, body. None are the chariot alone. Only when assembled do we label it chariot. The ship of Theseus replaced plank by plank. It remains the same ship. Is any original part truly left? No. Like the chariot or ship, our self is a changing process, not a fixed entity. There's no permanent I to grasp. Understanding no self liberates us. When we stop clinging to a false I, suffering rooted in attachment naturally fades away. Embrace this wisdom. Observe the aggregates, release identification, and find true freedom beyond the illusion of self. Begin now. We often feel a self that endures, constant through every change. But is this self truly fixed, or just a story we tell? Consider the ship of Theseus. If every plank is replaced, is it still the same ship? Where does its identity truly reside? Like the ship, our bodies, thoughts, feelings, perceptions, and consciousness constantly change. Nothing remains the same. The Buddha taught us the 5 aggregates: form, feeling, perception, mental formations, and consciousness. These are what we call self. Imagine a chariot. Is the chariot the wheels, the axle, the body, or the reins? Or is it something else entirely? None of its parts, nor the collection, is the chariot itself. Chariot is merely a name, a concept we apply. Similarly, self is a label we give to the ever-changing stream of these 5 aggregates. There is no enduring core. This understanding, anatta, no self, is not annihilation. It's seeing through the illusion of a separate, permanent ego. When we cease clinging to a fixed self, attachment to desires and aversion to loss naturally diminish, freeing us. Embrace this paradox by realizing no self. You discover true liberation and boundless peace, beyond any limited identity. We often cling to a fixed idea of self, a story we believe is true. This attachment often creates our deepest suffering and unease. Buddhist wisdom reveals a profound truth: anatta, the principle of no self. You are not a permanent, unchanging entity. Our self is merely a collection of impermanent processes, like form our physical body. It constantly changes, moment by moment. Then there are feelings and perceptions, constantly arising and passing. Can you find a solid you within these fleeting experiences? Mental formations, thoughts, intentions, and consciousness itself are also impermanent. None of these are a fixed, unchanging self. Consider the ship of Theseus. If every plank is replaced, is it still the same ship? Our self is ever-changing. Like a chariot, our self is a name for its parts: wheels, axle, body. No single part is the chariot, nor the self. The paradox: understanding no self brings freedom. We release the heavy burden of trying to maintain a fixed identity. Liberation from attachment to self ends suffering. When there's no fixed me to defend, true peace arises effortlessly. Reflect on anatta. Observe your experience. See how the illusion of a solid self dissolves, revealing boundless freedom and peace. We often cling to a fixed idea of self, believing it's stable and real. But what if this belief is the source of our deepest? Buddhist wisdom invites us to question this self. Is it a permanent, unchanging entity? Or is it something far more fluid and interconnected? This is the paradox of anatta, or no self. Not a void, but an understanding that self is a dynamic process, not a static core. The Buddha taught the 5 aggregates. First, form our physical body. Constantly changing, decaying, never truly the same. Then feelings: pleasant, unpleasant, neutral. And perceptions: how we recognize things. Both arise and pass away, never fixed. Next, mental formations: our thoughts, intentions, habits. Finally, consciousness, awareness itself. None are permanent, none are truly you. Like the ship of Theseus, or a chariot, the self is a collection of parts. No single part, nor the whole, is a fixed you. Embracing no self isn't about losing identity, but gaining freedom. When we see through this illusion, attachment to self loosens. This liberation from attachment leads to profound peace. The fear of losing self dissolves, along with much of our suffering. Contemplate anatta. Observe the aggregates in your own experience. See the impermanence, and find true freedom in this wisdom. We cling to a fixed idea of who we are, a constant self. This very clinging can become a deep source of unease. This imagined self defines our limits, fuels our desires, and becomes the root of much suffering. It limits true freedom. Buddhist wisdom introduces anatta, the profound teaching of no self. It's not annihilation, but a deeper seeing. We are not a fixed entity, but a dynamic collection. The 5 aggregates: form, feeling, perception, mental formations, and consciousness. Like the ship of Theseus, if every plank is replaced, is it the same ship? Our self is similar, ever-changing, impermanent. A chariot is just wheels, an axle, a body. No chariot apart from its parts. Our self is a collection, not a core entity. Recognizing these aggregates as impermanent, unsatisfactory, and non-self helps dismantle the illusion of a solid, enduring self. Letting go of attachment to this constructed self liberates us from the constant striving and fear that cause suffering. Understanding no self is not loss, but profound freedom. It's an opening to boundless peace, beyond ego's confines. Embrace this wisdom. See the fluidity of being. Find true liberation from attachment and suffering. Discover your interconnectedness. We often cling to a fixed idea of who we are, a constant arche that endures through all change and experience. Consider the ship of Theseus, constantly repaired, plank by plank. Is it still the same ship, or a new one entirely, though called by the? Our body, feelings, perceptions, mental formations, and consciousness are like those planks, always in flux, never truly fixed, yet we identify with them. The Buddha taught that just as a chariot is a name for its parts, the self is merely a designation for these changing aggregates, not. When we truly see this no self, we let go of clinging, finding profound freedom from suffering and the illusion of a separate, permanent I.